Hi everyone. Didn't realise I straight away started streaming myself. You would have seen me panicking, no doubt. Not the smoothest operation. Running a bit behind this morning. Normally there is some intro pages, etc. I somehow managed to put myself straight on camera. Okay guys, let me just get everything else going. Just be 2 seconds, just bear with me. Okay, cool. Just got some introductions to do, so I'll do that on RGT as well. We don't plan to use the race radio, but do a quick intro. Hi everyone. Welcome to week 2 of the RIAK Power Ranking Project series. This is a data collection series of sessions. For those on RGT, guys, really recommend coming over onto the live Zoom coaching feed or the live stream. Otherwise, yeah, the session won't make much sense, I'm afraid. You're welcome, obviously, of course, just to put around Pienza. But yeah, we've got a specific kind of set that we'll be doing. You can find the details for the live coaching feed in the RGT event description. There'll be a link to Zoom meeting details, or you can, of course, join, just watch the live stream on our various social media channels and the social media channels of Virtual Cycling News, V-Cycling News. I'm not going to use the race radio because personally I find it's, you know, if you don't want to listen to me, then you don't have to. And that's what the live coaching feed is there for. Anyway, so have a great session, guys. Hope to see you on the feed. Thanks. Okay, that's enough of that. So just about 35 seconds for everyone else that's joining us on the live stream or on Zoom. These sessions are meant to be interactive, so do feel free to unmute yourself in Zoom, or you can use the chat in Zoom, or you can use the chat in RGT, or for those that are watching the live stream, we are across all the comment sections, so you can leave comments in there if you've got any questions. To start off with though, nice and easy, we're just going to ride together, guys, just for a lap. So we'll try and stick together. I'll try and ride it around sort of 2 watts per kilo or so, but don't stress about it too much, all will be explained. But here we go. Or not, this is the case in my case. Thought I had everything set up. Bear with me a second, guys. There we go, there's the trainer. That's what we want. Right then. Only saw me to catch up with the group. Wow. Haven't had a shambolic session like this in a while. Okay, so tonight's session, this power ranking series, what it's all about is essentially collecting data so that you guys can learn a bit about yourselves as athletes. Now, in last week's sessions, I talked all about the critical powers, your FTP, 5-minute power, 1-minute power, and 5-second power. I'm not going to go through all of that today. I'm just going to give you a very kind of quick synopsis of it again. But essentially, each of those different kind of time durations, we're talking about essentially your personal best power over each of those time periods. Okay? And what they do is they correspond to different changes in the way you produce energy, essentially. Okay? So that's essentially what we're looking at. Last week we did an FTP test, so that's that one covered. This week we're looking at your 5-minute power, but we're trying to do it in a slightly more interesting way than maybe just doing, you know, essentially a 5-minute FTP test. Okay, so we've got the main climb at Pienza, and we're going to use that as a way of collecting some data. Now it's going to get a bit breathy this evening, mainly as I try and catch up with everyone, but also, see how I feel. We might give it a go myself. So we have got multiple laps. So the intention is that this is basically a hill rep session. But of course, the first rep being the most important. So it's very straightforward, guys. Just gunning it as far as you can up the main climb of our GT. So not this one. You'll see the segment come up when we go. So you've got kind of two ways of doing this, really. If you don't really want to think about it too much, just go from the base of the climb. Okay? Or if you want it, if you think, well, actually, it's about a 3 kilometer climb, that's going to take you a lot longer than 5 minutes, then what you can do is, just sort of give yourself a cut off. Note where you start the climb, and then once you've gone past 5 minutes, just ease off. Okay? Right, just getting back to the group now. Just going to go up to the front. And then basically, guys, what I'd like to do is if we all slow down right at the base of the climb, and then we'll just go and race each other. So the idea is it's, a little bit more competition. That's kind of the purpose behind our ranking series as a whole. It's all about kind of making training a little bit more interesting. So you can kind of repeat these sessions with your mates, just get a group together and then try and race each other up the climb. Or of course, you can do this in real life. Being safe, obviously. Right, getting towards the front again. There. So, anybody that is watching this, just stop when you get there. Just wait at the base of the main climb. Okay? And then we'll all start together. So, I should be hopefully getting to the front, and then when I stop, you stop. And then we'll just have we'll just wait for the bulk of people to get there, and then we'll go off the gun. We'll go off together and essentially just race each other. Okay? Now we're going from the base of the climb, guys. Okay, not from where the segment starts on RGT. So I hope that makes sense. From the base of the climb. So basically, if you look at the top or at the bottom, where it starts to go yellow. Okay, from the base, rather than from where segment starts, because the segment starts about a third of the way up the climb. Personally don't understand that decision. I don't know whether it relates to a segment on Strava or something, but yeah, personally I always think it's about Strava segments in general, to be honest. Some of them are bizarre. Why would you want a segment for half a climb? Surely you want it for the whole thing. Anyway, right, approaching the front now. Nice and warm at least. It's absolutely freezing where I am. So yeah, we're going to be looking to collect basically your best possible power for 5 minutes over the course of 5 minutes. That's the goal with this session. Okay, now the first rep, first lap is the big one. And then second, third, fourth, how many laps you want to do. You're just basically looking to try and get close to that, time. Okay, so your 5 minute power, guys, roughly equates to the power you can put out when you're at your VO2 max. So the maximum volume of oxygen you can take in. So it's that sort of tipping point before you go entirely anaerobic, essentially. Okay. So guys, don't worry if it's all a bit spread out. Let's take a... Okay guys, so if everyone on RGT, the next thing we want to do is we want to stop at the base of the main climb. So not where the segment starts, but at the base of the main climb. So if you just stop when I stop, and then we're just going to wait for the bulk of the people to join up with us, and then basically it's a race up the hill. Okay, all looking to collect your 5-minute peak power. So just wait till I stop, guys. But in the meantime, guys, just try and get warm. You know, rev those legs up. You know how we normally do in a live coach session, throw in some fast pedaling efforts. So if I shift into an easy gear now, I'll show you what I mean. There's something like this, where I'm just sort of spinning up. You know, my power has increased a little bit, but it's not gone crazy. It's mostly just about getting my legs going. Okay, so just throw in a few of those, 10 seconds at a time, or 10 pedal strokes at a time. So approaching towards the base, we're going to go over this little lip, down a little descent, and then we hit the base of the climb. Okay, so I'll be stopping soon, so get yourselves ready to pause if you're on the quick ones. I think it's really good if we can all stop together and then, you know, hit it together essentially. Even if, you know, you're one of the strong ones or maybe you're one of the slower ones, it really doesn't matter. Just having someone to chase up the hill, I think, is a really fun and a fun way of doing it. As I say, the alternative really is either to do this 5-minute effort as part of one of our full spectrum performance testing sessions, or just doing, you know, a 5-minute all-out effort on your own, which is a bit boring really. So, what does it say? Let's get ready to stop. We're just going to go around this corner, and then it's normally where they use, when you do the race, I think the finish is just around here somewhere, normally. But what I'm going to do is just going to pause around this corner. Okay guys, so just at the base, I'll just sort of soft pedal just to kind of keep my avatar moving. But if everyone pauses where I am, that's good. And we just sort of soft pedal. Just wait for everybody to catch up essentially. Just make sure you're in the gear that you can start pedaling again. And we'll just wait for people to catch up. Yeah, just roll it over just so you're not completely at a standstill. And essentially once we get the bulk of people caught up with us, we'll go for it. And from here it's just hard all the way. The climb is about 2.8 kilometers from here, so around 3k, so hopefully it'll give us a good kind of baseline. So let's see what's going on. We can flick through the cameras. Okay, so most of the lots. Mostly a couple of people. A few seconds time. Okay, we'll just wait for coming up to this. A little bit further back. Okay, so we'll just wait for Simon, I think, and then get Simon's now. I'm sorry, I've gotten your name wrong. Okay, so just wait for Simon to catch up, and then we'll get going. Okay. Ready to go. Let's say in 5, 4, 3, 2, Wait for it, and wait to get, just let him get to us. Okay, ready to go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go then, guys. Come on. Let's see what you got. Come on. Just remember, this is a long climb, by the way. But just give it everything you got. 5 minutes is a long, long time. Right? And this is where the competition starts. So just keep an eye on the topography at the bottom. You can see we're into a red section now. It's over 5%. It then dips down a little bit and then kicks up again, or levels off for the final sort of third of the climb, or half maybe. Oh, guys, give it everything you got. We'll be doing multiple reps, but this is one where you empty the tank. Try and keep a nice high cadence, guys. Well above 80 RPM if you can. Talking a little bit about climbing form on the descent. Not so much now. Kilometre to go to the top. all the way up to the top. Ignore the segment. Up to the crest, which is where the finish is for the lap. And 50 to go on my screen at least. Come out to finish. And there you go. Well done, guys. So just responding to the question on RGT, is there a preferred RPM? Basically just anything well above 80. You know, unless they're at the sprint to the finish, on a really nice high cadence, you know, it's gonna be way more efficient than rolling a big heavy gear. Obviously, when it comes to the sprint at the end, you just do what you got to do basically. But the majority of that climb, we want you well above 80 RPM. We're talking about kind of riding, climbing form. Once I've got my breath back. But well done, guys. Keep going. If you're still on the climb, just keep driving it, okay? We will kind of regroup, so don't worry. We're a little bit behind where I am. Really not a big deal. Okay, it's not that kind of session. This is all about racing together, having a bit of fun. Keep going, guys. Let's have a chat on RGT. Well done, everyone. Good stuff. So just remember, ignore the segment. Just go from the base of the climb all the way up to the top, up to the finish line, essentially. Ignore that segment. In terms of the question about RPM, basically anything above 80 RPM should be your target. You want it really nice and high, and then obviously when it gets to that finishing sprint, the last sort of 50 meters or so, do whatever you got to do to churn that power up. Well done, guys. So same drill when you get to the base of the climb again. Just pause. For now, just spin up, take it nice and easy. We'll regroup at the base of the climb and go again. And when you're in between the climb, make sure you get the fluids on board. Keep pushing if you're on that climb. Keep on driving it, all right? All the way up to the top. Just remember, yes, we're throwing in a competitive element to it in the evening session, but ultimately, you're racing against yourself, trying to get that best possible 5-minute power you can. And once you're over the climb, don't stress about catching up. Just spin up your legs, okay? What you got to do to recover, get the fluids on board. As I say, don't stress about catching up. We'll just soft pedal. If you just ride a tiny little bit harder than us, I don't mean much. You can see we're rolling through about 1 watt per kilo ride a little bit harder than that, you'll catch us up in no time. So sort of flip through the group, have a look where everyone is. It's coming out to the finish line. Forward, dust over. That's good. Okay. Good stuff, guys. We'll just keep soft pedaling. So again, don't worry if you're just finished or still finishing. No one's going anywhere without you. Do this together. It's a hell of a lot more fun. It also means more recovery, which I think is what everybody wants. So tonight's session, I think we've got 3 more laps planned, but obviously I'll stop at the end of an hour because no one wants to listen to me for that long. But guys, if we go to the hour mark and we've still got laps to do and you want to do more, just do it, just go for it, guys. Absolutely no problem. This session is just meant to be illustrative. So again, if you don't kind of really meet your expectations, or you're just not on a great day, do not worry about it. It's mostly about having a bit of fun and just kind of illustrating a good way of collecting data. I think that as a coach, the instinct is always to kind of make everything very scientific and controlled as much as possible. But really, often the best data you get is, or you get your personal best. That's when you expect it the least. Yeah, me too. Just refined that comment. Getting tired already. Just right before I started, guys. I meant to be on a recovery day, but there you go. It's a bit too much fun, really. I was just smashing up a hill. Probably will take it a bit easier this time, though. Yes. So climbing form. So you'll see what I'm up to at the moment in terms of my hands. This is a good ride. This is a good climbing position. When we're up above sort of 4 or 5%, aerodynamics don't really matter as much as gravity at that point. Okay, so we're not super worried about being kind of as low as possible. Obviously, it doesn't matter at all when you're on the turbo. But if you're on a long, steady state climb, riding in this sort of position with nice soft elbows, soft upper body, your hands in the middle, it's a good position. A few reasons. One, if you're in the real world riding, you're kind of reducing the length of the lever on these handlebars. And so it means your wheel's going to twitch less, you're going to ride in a straighter line and kind of ride as true as you can, as true as possible. The other thing is, going into this more upright position, what it does is it pushes you back on the saddle and it gets your glutes more involved. Okay, so it's all, if you are doing an FTP test, it's another way just eking out an extra couple of watts just sit in that sort of position. Okay, and then finally what it's going to do, again, if you're riding in the real world, pushing your bum back on the saddle, getting those glutes involved, what it's also going to do is put more of your weight over the back wheel, which means you're going to get more traction. Or to put it another way, you're going to get less wheel spin if the road surface isn't amazing. Okay, so various reasons why sort of riding in this position is good. There's all kinds of different variations of it, but just as a default, it's a good position to get into on a climb. Okay, so try it on this next round if you weren't doing so already. Just see how it affects your power output and your comfort, which is important as well, particularly if you're doing a long ride. Okay, not necessarily a smash fest like tonight. You might just be if you're out on a long hilly ride. You want comfort as well. Okay, guys. So we're just going to ride through now. Just trying to stay together as much as possible. I'll ride at around 2 watts per kilo. If you're a little bit behind, do not worry. We'll stop again at the base of the climb and wait for everyone to catch up. I do like this new feature where you can cycle through the other avatars, the other people on the session, doing things like this, trying to see where everyone is. Really useful, really great feature. Glad they added it. So yeah, that's just a little bit about riding form, and then again, as I said earlier, about cadence. Okay, in a climb like that, 5-minute effort, you want your cadence well above 80, ideally above 90. I wasn't keeping an eye on that one, I have to admit. I'm not sure whether I was practicing what I preach. So the first one, don't stress if you weren't kind of taking note. You were just kind of digging deep, trying to get to that finish line. You weren't taking note of kind of how long the climb took you, or how much the segment, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just look to try and produce a similar effort. Obviously, you're unlikely to be able to match it perfectly, but one of the things that we're trying to work on is that repeatability, that ability to recover and then go again. Obviously, incredibly important when it comes to e-racing and any form of racing, really. And just talking more generally about hill reps. So we look after a squad of athletes, really, of varying sort of experience levels and elite, as well as people doing their first triathlon or their first bike race or first sportive or something. Look after a real variety of athletes. But we've been having the same conversation with probably most of them, really. So what we're doing with a lot of athletes over the course of winter is getting them out doing hill reps. It's one of the few kind of safe forms of structured training out on the roads. Safer, I should say. Obviously at the moment not safe really at all, because in the UK it's snowy and icy. So but it's a much safer way than kind of try and do sprints or threshold sets on the open road, which can be pretty sketchy, particularly in the UK, where if someone in a German brand car comes up behind you, who knows what they're going to do. Apologies if you've got a German brand car. This tends to be the pattern. There's nothing that can replace hill reps really in the real world. Well, the conversation that I've been having, a lot of athletes is doing it on RGT, is doing hill reps on Zwift. Is it the same? Is it as valuable as doing it in the real world? I'm sorry guys, the answer is no. Doing this sort of stuff on RGT and on Zwift is fantastic for conditioning and for doing this sort of thing, collecting a little bit of data. But in terms of kind of all the elements that you want to get out of hill reps, I'm afraid it doesn't come close. Nothing can beat getting out to your favourite or probably least favourite climb and just smashing up it as hard as you can. You cannot replicate gravity on a trainer. You cannot replicate the road surface. You can't replicate the camber on the road. You can't replicate the wind gusting in your face, or you can't all the different stress factors that you get when you're doing hill reps. I would suggest that hill reps is probably the best conditioning tool out on the road. Okay, they're so useful. They build such great strength, particularly if you're riding with good form, a nice high cadence. Oh, they're just fantastic. Okay, guys. So inevitably, I'll get asked that question at the end of the session. Is doing hill reps on the turbo on a course like this equivalent to doing it on the road? So in fact, it's good if it's like today and it's just you're snowed in. Then it's a great alternative. It's 100% better than nothing. And it's probably something as well, but I wouldn't get into a pattern of skipping your hill reps outside to do them on the turbo. I'd get out as much as you can, because it's just so much better. Probably can't even list all the ways that it's better. So sorry to disappoint anyone. I've had to disappoint a lot of our athletes this last couple of weeks as they've asked me that question. And one of the things that we've been doing with them with the hill reps is we've been using it as a benchmarking exercise, similar to this, I guess. We said to them, use the Strava segment for that climb, and go hard on your first rep to set a benchmark. And then once we've gone through the series of hills, I usually try and pick about 6 different hills for them, and each week they do a different one. And once we've gone through that series of 6 climbs over the course of 6 weeks, when we get back to the beginning, they've got a benchmark for each of those climbs that they have to try and beat in that next block of 6 weeks. Really good way of creating a benchmark. So, got back to the base of the climb. Just gonna keep the legs turning over, and let's just see where everyone's gotten to. Cool. far behind. It's good. Keep going, guys. A couple of guys who might not be watching the stream or the Zoom feed gone up ahead. But yeah, if you're joining us, guys, just hover around where we are, and then we'll get going. Say sort of a minute or two. So just soft pedal if you can. Keep it turning over slightly, and get ready to go. Hopefully you're not in your external garage like I am. I don't know if you can see my breath. It is cold. Chill out a little bit more. Last opportunity to get a swig of water. Try not to take too much on board. Just remember what I was saying about riding position this time, guys. Okay, so try it if you're not aware of this kind of format of riding form. Just get your hands in the middle. Make sure your bum is right at the back of the saddle, and just do your best to keep your leg speed nice and high. Okay, so we'll go again in about 30 seconds. Catch up so you don't get cold. Again in about 20 seconds. Okay, 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go then, guys. Round 2. See a couple of wheels I want to try and get onto the back of. Let's go as high as you can, guys. Remember what I was saying about riding position. Hands in the middle, nice high cadence. Try and stay relaxed as best you can. Will help keep that bum planted, help with that power delivery. you go, guys. Just coming up to segment start. About 1,000 meters left. That's it, slightly more than that, isn't it? The segment finishes before the top. Ignore the segment. Just keep pushing. Have a look at that topo at the bottom. Going about towards halfway through. Keep driving, keep pushing, guys. Come on, let's do this. Let's see how close we can get to that time up the climb that we did last time. Yeah, about a third of the climb left on my topper at least. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Okay, ignore the segment end. Keep pushing all the way to the top. Nearly there, guys. Right, stay on it. Stay focused. Nice high cadence all the way to the top. And there we go. Woo. Oh, wait. And then just soft pedal when you get to the top, guys. Take it nice and easy. Don't quit, guys. Stay with us. You don't have to do it as hard as last time. One of the things that you want to make sure you're doing with your hill reps actually is varying them. You don't always necessarily want to go do a massive hit up. In fact, one of my favourite sessions to do before the day before a race is to just go do some sort of 80% effort, 80% effort reps. So I'll go. There's a climb called Tom's Hill near me, which is a quite famous one. I think they might even have the British Hill Climb Championships there in recent years. Can't remember. Might be making that one up. But anyway, yeah, that's my favourite climb. And for a primer session the day before a race, I'll go and do just sort of like, yeah, say some 80% effort. So, you know, you're talking like a 6 out of 10 effort, you know, sweet spot at most, really. Yeah, I just find it just, one, it gets you out, gets rid of some of the nerves the day before a race, and yeah, it just sets you up nicely, really. So yeah, if you're struggling, or you're just like, you're not on it today, or you just don't want to, there's absolutely no reason why you have to smash this, okay? But one thing we do with our athletes is when we're mixing it up, is rather than trying to get them focused on power, we try to get them focused on effort and form. So say we were setting this as kind of like a primer set, or you know, maybe just a less intense session. We're trying to balance out their week in terms of intensity. You know, one of the things that we'll say to them is we want you riding with good form, so much in this sort of position, nice high cadence. We might set them a specific cadence to try and hit, particularly for kind of less experienced riders. We'll say to them, your baseline is 80 RPM. Okay, you have to be above 80 RPM. And yeah, and then we'll say to them, we want you seated all the way through the climb. Okay, and you'll have seen in that previous lap, I was out of the saddle quite a lot. That's my normal kind of riding style, but really, what you kind of do want to do is try and remain seated as much as possible. If you go back to what I was saying on the previous lap about this riding position, putting your bum back and your weight over the back wheel. If you're out of the saddle, you know, it shifts your weight forwards, and if the road surface isn't particularly great, you get a lot of wheel slip. You know, as an example, I've been doing a lot of cyclocross recently, and in cyclocross you rarely get out of the saddle, particularly if it's muddy and slippy, because you're just going to lose all traction. So off-road riding, actually, if you want to get better at climbing, off-road riding is a really good way of kind of getting into good habits, because you have no choice. You get out of the saddle, that wheel is just going to slip off, you're going to lose all power, you may even lose all speed. So yeah, guys, don't worry if you've done the first lap, where the first set where we're going as hard as you can. Hopefully you've got some good data there, but these subsequent laps, just ride kind of how you want, really. This series is mostly about collecting the data rather than being kind of out and out conditioning sessions. We just try and make it a good session as well, basically. What else was I going to say? Yes, just a quick FYI before, if anyone does leave before the end of the session, when you're looking back at your data trying to retrieve your 5-minute power, don't look at the Strava segment, because that segment obviously is only 1 kilometre long, and that climb is nearly 3 Ks. Okay, so it might take a little bit of trickery pokery trying to find the segment, but there are also software you can use. Golden Tutor is a really good free piece of software, or if you use Training Peaks and you've got premium, you should be able to analyze your session and isolate what you did, what power you put out over the climb. Okay, so just remember, don't use the Strava segment. It's not useful for our purposes. We did the full climb, not just the segment. Otherwise, guys, just spinning up. Do the same again. Just draw it back together at the base of the climb. This will probably be my last rep, I think, with bearing in mind the time. Okay, nobody wants to listen to me more than an hour, if that. Let's do this one last time. Just remember, guys, whilst we're piddling around, if you've got any questions, I'm here to ask. It's been a bit of a freestyling session, borderline shambolic at the start, But I am here to answer any of your training questions. Doesn't necessarily have to be related to this, what we're up to now, but I'm here. If you can't think of anything now, but you think of something subsequently, just drop us a line on social media, or you can email us info@riak.fitness. We genuinely love your questions coming in, guys, because it shows that you're engaged and hopefully that you're enjoying the sessions. Yeah, so don't be afraid to ask, guys. And similarly, for those watching the live stream, you can drop your comments in the comment section, or your questions in the comment section, sorry. So I'm just laughing. I do this every week. I laugh because every week it's someone different. You get these dodgy websites dropping in links to the comment section, knowing that we're picking it up live, hoping that it'll flash up on our screen. But I won't say what they're for, but yeah, it's just, they're always quite amusing. I just wonder whether anyone actually ever clicks the links. Must do, otherwise won't bother. Okay, so just spinning up, guys. Don't stress if you're a little bit behind. Yeah, one more time. You've seen the comments on RGT. Yeah, one more time. Just spinning up. Try to keep your heart rate. I haven't got my heart rate monitor linked, mainly because I don't want people to know how disproportionately hard I'm working. But yeah, try and keep your heart rate above 100 beats per minute during these recovery intervals. Okay, that's usually a good kind of baseline that you don't want to go below. That's generally what I always use as well when I'm warming up for a race. You know, if I do a warm up and then there's a little bit of a wait between the warm up and race start, I'll turn my legs over to try and keep my heart rate above at least 100 beats per minute. One more time up. In terms of clients, when you're doing your own hill reps, or if you're trying to replicate this in the real world, I talked about varying, and that means both in terms of the type of hill, the distance, and how you approach it. Okay, so we talked a moment ago about doing kind of 80% efforts. You know, maybe you're not on the best of the day, but you want to do some climbing, you want to get some efforts in the legs. There's various other approaches you can take to climbing. So for instance, we like doing power reps, and what they are is we'll pick a climb usually around 1 kilometer long, where say if the profile allows for it, the first 600 meters we'll get them riding kind of just strong, you know, like a sweet spot effort, 7 out of 10 effort. And then for the final, say 400 meters, we say to them, we want you out the saddle, absolutely smashing it to the top. So it's a 400 meter effort, and that kind of change in pace, that change in effort, you know, what we're trying to do there is just replicate the sort of effort that you would do when you're attacking in a race. You know, you'll see guys like Van der Poel and Van Aert, etc., Marianne Vos, Van Vleuten, you know, when they're doing the spring classics, that sort of explosive, absolutely revolting effort that they'll do on short climbs to drop everybody, just put everyone completely in the red, knowing that they can recover and go again. That's the sort of thing, you know, it's always really good and important to practice that sort of thing. So various different ways you can do hill reps, various different ways, various different things you can do, not just in terms of conditioning, but also in terms of skills. Okay, so do vary it. So if you wanted to try something a little bit different, what you could do exactly that on this next effort. If you've not got a huge amount left in the legs, just ride conservatively for the majority of it, and then maybe say in the final 400, 500 meters, just absolutely go for it. And you'll know when it's 405 meters because you actually there's the signs on the side of the road. if you look out for them, they're sort of the black circles with the white numbers. They tell you how far to the actual top of the climb. Okay, not the segment. So just keep an eye out for those. And so when you get to say 500 to go, just absolutely smash the pedals and go for it. If you don't have 3 kilometre effort in you, hopefully you maybe have 500 metre effort in you. So just getting over this final little lip, and then we're just gonna spin down again, see where everyone is. I think let's do this off. Together. We've got a few survivors anyway. We're mostly together. Check one last time. Yeah. So when we get to the base of the climb, we won't wait around too much. I'll just get to the base, count to 10, and off I go. Okay? So you feel free. Join me. Ah, Seamus. Sorry. I don't know why I thought it was Simon. My bad. Sorry, guys. Okay, one last effort for me. There's another lap on the planned session, so do feel free to stick around and do another one if you fancy it. Attack this one however you fancy, basically, guys. Ride it up to that 500 metre mark and explode, but I want you really gunning it, like full gas. Or just ride it nice and steady, sort of 6 out of 10 effort. You know, maybe something, you know, tempo or sweet spot type effort. Or guys, I'm just going to go through it again, to be honest with you. Sort of. Okay, so right, I think we've got the vast majority of us to go, so I'm just going to count to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go then, come on then guys. Last effort up the climb. Let's go for it. Already regretting it. Get my cadence up. This is what I preach. Well above 80, so still too low on that cadence. It's very easy when you're tired, guys, to start rolling a big heavy gear. It's counterproductive. Use your gearing. Try not to be, it's not lazy. You're clearly not lazy, you're doing this. But I think it's easy to kind of slip into bad habits. So well above 80 RPM, that is. Now I've got to drop into the small ring now. Legs are feeling a bit secondhand. Come on guys, you can do this. One last round. Remember, keep that leg speed going high, guys. Okay, you'll find it really tough. You might just find if you keep your leg speed up, as it flattens out, you'll be able to recover a little bit. Just enough to give you a second wind, or at least to get on top of the gear. So you just passed one with what I was saying about the distance signs on the side of the road. Little black circles with white writing. I think we just went past 1500 to go. Less than a kilometre to the top now. The last push, last effort of the session. So you see just on the right hand side, there's 750 metres to go. So if you're doing an explosive effort for the last 500, just keep an eye out. Okay, coming up to the last 500, just as you turn, that kind of last hairpin, final 500. Okay, 250 for me. Last effort to the line. $150. Come on, guys. Last 200. Push you all the way to the end. Keep pushing, keep pushing. All the way to the top. job to everybody that's been joining us. So over the top, just take a few minutes spinning down. You want to be around 40 to 50% of FTP. Then you'll cool down just to help flush out some of the lactate in your legs. Okay? Make sure you take a cool down, particularly after sort of a session like that, where you've perhaps gone a little bit deeper than you might do in non-competitive training sessions. Okay, just take a few minutes just to flush some of the rubbish out of your muscles. But well, there you go, guys. That was a slightly haphazard session, but I kind of enjoy the chaos, I'm not going to lie. I don't enjoy accidentally starting the live stream when I don't know if I was still dressing or what, but otherwise I do enjoy slightly chaotic sessions. No worries, guys. Thanks very much for joining me. Let's have a little quick check what else I got. Yeah, so what we're up to next week. So next week will be our last session before Christmas. We're going to take the whole Christmas off, and then the second, I think, is the next Monday. That's a bank holiday, so we'll be off again for that, I'm afraid. There'll be a couple of weeks after the next session. So the next session, we're back to a more structured session. There'll be a structured workout, and we'll be working on speed endurance. But ultimately, the big goal is that 1 minute power. Okay, so some 1 minute efforts. Yeah, good. I just wanted to comment on IGT. I really like the workout session compared to a hard race. I think, guys, if you're not a racer, or maybe you are a racer and you just, you don't necessarily get your best power out in a race, doing kind of sessions like this with your mates, a hell of a lot more fun. Just as an FYI, if you want to do any of these sessions again, at the end of the 8-week series, all of these sessions, including the coaching feed recording, will be going up on our power ranking page on the website. Going to make it all available for free. So yeah, if you ever want to do any of these sessions again, you enjoy the series and you want to get your mates involved, want to see how they stack up, then yeah, all of this will be available on our website for free. And as I say, the whole point of this is we want to collect everyone's data if they're willing to share it, and then we can create a league table essentially of everyone's peak powers, and then you can see how you stack up against your mates, against your rivals. And just like tonight, just makes the whole training just a little bit more fun, a little bit more competitive, and it's a little bit different really. So there you go, guys. Thanks very much for your company. If anyone's got any questions, I will stick around for a few minutes, but otherwise, yeah, go piece yourself back together after 3 very hard reps up a very hard climb. Well done, guys.